Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me now, boys? My microphone was disconnected. What I was saying, assuming you can hear me now, or we're just doing this again, is I owe you an apology. I never know exactly if it goes live when I click the I'm going live button, or if there's like a 5-second delay. And then I was apologizing for having a millennial pause because I'm a man in his 30s. And then I was like, ooh, I'm a man in his 30s. But playing a video game for teenagers, T for teen, I think is the rating of this game. Let's get into it. In the last one, I did many things honestly, I probably could have solved the fucking case. But this beautiful bimbo in front of me, bless his heart, he fucking makes me entertain his bullshit theories about, like, anti-gravity, and he wastes literally hours of my time. It's like when you hire somebody to be an employee who's, like, really pretty and charismatic, but they're, like, dumb as a post, and they really slow down the work log. They won't get fired because pretty privilege is a real thing, but, like, also everybody's kind of suffering a little bit because of them, you know? You can hear my voice, but not the game. Well, don't worry, Jonathan Brown. There's actually no sound coming from the game. We're staring at Herlock Sholmes in beautiful, awkward silence at this moment in time. It's just we're making eyes at each other is all that's happening. So, John Brown, Jacob Welsh, Rainbow Matrix, Tito TJ, Mr. Chart, and the rest of you, hi, welcome, good to see you. Let's maybe start. Right, so we're gonna end this game of hide and seek by opening the safe, you mean. What had happened was, in this room, a man was very obviously in this room, and he very obviously hid, and the very obvious hiding spot is in the safe. The safe that we have the combination to, because the combination was just sitting on the back of a chair. But instead, we were like, oh, well, maybe he turned the gravity off in here, and maybe we'll spend 30 minutes investigating the gravity. I fucking hate this man. But the jawline is very forgivable on him, so. There we go. Yeah, let's open the safe. Well, what else would we do? Let's see. The combination was 432582. Right. I knew that. All right, Susato-san, listen, I love you to death, but listen, you're getting a little bit showboaty by being the only character who actually knows things in these games, all right? Give the rest of us a chance to shine, okay? All right, we open it, and oh, this poor 6'7" man. All crankled up in here. God. You found me! Guilty. You. Oh, wow. Okay. Yep. Hi. Oh, look at your hand. That's kind of a cool little device you got going on there. Oh, you're very robotic. Oh, whoa. Oh, your groin is right there. You are kind of reminding me of, that man from Labyrinth. Was it David Bowie? Is he okay? Sir? Oh, hi. Wow. You have a theme song and everything. Mike C, hello.
Right then, sir. Mr. Enoch Drebber, I presume?
Correct. You'd better start talking. You tricked Professor Hairbrain with that bogus machine that you built.
And you shall have to explain the theft of the waxwork from Madame Tussbells as well.
Whilst I would be delighted to answer your many questions. Oh, I kinda love him, actually. Personally, I would advise that you deactivate my little parcel first. Deactivate? What?
Your parcel?
I refer, of course, to the time bomb. I left it in a most prominent position.
Ah! It's real?
Oh, I see. Stunned silence. You're all gearing up to die with me, then.
What? No, the fuck we are not. I'm young and beautiful. Mr. Sholmes, with only 7 seconds to spare.
That was close. A little too close for comfort. I've got one foot in the grave already, but I dare say it's our own fault, Susato-san, for entertaining this maniac.
Are you trying to help us get a killer or get us killed?
Mr. Sholmes' deductions can be completely life-altering, can't they?
Completely life-endangering, I'd say. Well, my dear fellows, that was a close shave. resemblance to an anti-gravity device is really quite startling, I must say.
Anti-gravity devices don't exist.
Yeah, but we all went along with it anyways, so who's the real fool here, Susato-san? Okay, wow. Alright, Spider Fingers, let me talk to you. Oh, oops, wrong button, sorry. Getting so excited. Wow. He kind of looks like Eugenia No, never mind, never mind. No, I'm not saying anything. What happens here? What on earth happens here? You've found me, haven't you? No need to screw me down any further. Everything in here is precisely what it seems.
Yeah? Well, we'd be giving it a thorough going over. Don't you worry, Trevor.
What fails to click with me is how you were able to locate my workshop. That I was not expecting. When I heard whistling from the other room, I knew it was time to bolt.
Whistling?
Huh, that would have been me.
Oh.
For some reason, I woke in a fine fettle today. Uh-huh. No words. Just tightly squeezed chips. They're gonna get all soggy. Clearly I must have a screw loose, though, as I couldn't remember the combination for the safe. And another one loose, as I couldn't remember on which piece of furniture I'd written it down. We also found a rope over by the wall. Yes, I had hoped to exit through the skylight, but sadly the rope was too short. So, I then set about searching for the combination code to open the safe. And burning the incriminating blueprints, don't forget. Regrettably, though, you failed to retrieve the head from the balloon among the rafters. And after that, you hid yourself inside of the safe? Having first set this parcel ticking? Well, I had no intention of being nailed by the police. Yeah, sometimes we just get nailed and we didn't even see it coming. Alright, the time bomb, can we talk about this?
Got a death wish, have you? Hiding right beside a ticking time bomb.
Well, I'm sure that the safe would have been impervious. Please, why do you suppose I chose to hide inside of a safe? It's no ordinary safe. It is specially designed. A dynamite explosion wouldn't leave a scratch on it. So in fact, the safe was the only safe place. Ha ha! Precisely.
But once you climbed inside, you wouldn't have been able to get out again.
I invite you to look more closely. The safe is filled with a handle on the inside to allow the door to be unlocked from within. So it is. I had always intended to blow this place to smithers in any case. I just wasn't expecting uninvited guests to come along and screw up my plans.
Do you mean to say you were planning to blow all this up?
Well, yes, that's why I said it just now. My goodness, you folks really like to rehash things. Wait, what's going on here? What do you mean? Most people run, you see, when they see a ticking time bomb at their feet. So you were just trying to spook us. I calculated the time required for retreat to a safe distance and set the device accordingly. But my fucking god, your seemingly endless discourse here threw a spanner in the works. Yeah, we do have a habit of wasting time. Is something wrong, Gregson? Do I have something on my face? Besides the usual eyes, ears, nose, and mouth? I think we have a fairly good idea of what's been going on here now. But what about the two incidents you've evidently been involved in recently? Notice how each of Enoch's sentences have orange words? I assume he uses a robotic voice for those words. Oh, that's a weird choice. I don't know if I have a robot in me, but I'll give it a shot. I didn't pay attention to that, actually. Good catch. Professor Hairbrain's instantaneous kinesis experiment at the Great Exhibition, and the waxwork model that you stole, which this head belongs to. That's no ordinary head. No, I can't do it. Wait, what? No. Why does he talk like a human and a robot? That's too much for me. That's past my pay grade of $0.00. That's the head of the professor. Clad in a mask with a lock so strong, I'm unable to open it safely to reveal the killer's identity. I've been considering carrying it around as protection.
That's enough!
What? Oh, she's over it too. Hi, Cynthia. Welcome back here. Cynthia, she's a really cool dancer. Cynthia. What's going on here, Gregson? I'm sure you're aware that I have sole jurisdiction to investigate here.
Yes, well...
Dr. Scythe again. So the forensic investigation team are here. And you know full well this engineer is a key witness. Why are you allowing this lawyer access to him? If Lord Strongheart knew of this, you'd be finished. You lot, leave at once. My dear madame, there's no need for such a threatening tone, I assure you. After all, that's no way to greet an old acquaintance, is it, Dr. Scythe? Oh my god, what a socialite. This man knows everybody. Hello, Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes knows Dr. Scythe? Mr. Sholmes knows everybody. If it's protecting the machine next door that's causing such a sour expression on your face, you're quite misguided. It's really nothing more than a shell. You get out! Oh, girl, damn, Jesus fuck, you didn't have to be such a cunt about it. But of course, we shall show ourselves the door. I see you haven't softened at all. Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah? It would appear that our delightfully entertaining investigations have run their course for today. But Mr. Sholmes, let us leave this place in the doctor's capable hands. Well, if you insist. I said get out, now! All of you. Alright, fine. You know what? If you're gonna tell me to get out, I'm gonna get out of this chair and I'm gonna go turn up the air because I'm getting sweaty anyways. You guys keep it very hot in here and I don't like it like that, okay? I'll be right back. Good golly fuck. Alright, I'm leaving. Your presence here is not required either, Gregson. Oh, shit.
Understood. But I'll just say one thing before I head off. If it wasn't for this lawyer and his companions, we'd never have found this place, and the whole workshop would have been blown to bits. There was a time bomb set in here, but this lot disarmed.
Inspector! Oh my god, he's standing up for me! Between Dr. Scythe, Enoch, Madame Tussbells, and the Headless Waxwork, this case has a great cast of characters that give Halloween vibes. Yeah, a little bit, doesn't it? Oh, sorry.
Something giving you a chuckle, Dr. Trevor?
Let's not call him Doctor. Sorry. Didn't mean to offend. You're quite right, of course. You did disarm the time bomb, didn't you? We gave it to Gina? Oh, for the love of fuck! Yes, you did disarm that one. Oh, what are you lot? That one? Huh? What? What you mean? Or wait, no, is there one... There's one somewhere else? Oh, dear God. Boys? Oh! Are they gonna be okay? It was an hour later that we heard the news of the enormous explosion that ripped through the experimentation stage at the Great Exhibition. Professor Harebrain's invention and all of its secrets were blown away forever. Well, I bet this could have been avoided if we were allowed to investigate the machine. Shit, to be continued. Oh, damn, we were so close. Yeah, we would have finished this yesterday if it wasn't for the fucking gravity shit. Okay, so now we're adding domestic terrorism to the list of charges. Save your current progress? I guess so. Yeah. So where do I go from here? That was such a curt ending. I feel like I need to get more information out of this. I saw October 24th, 9:11 a.m. We're just here now at the Old Bailey in the defendant's antechamber.
Good morning to you, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, good morning, Professor. Are you ready for today's proceedings?
I hope so. I should be, even if I have nothing left to...
Good morning, my dear fellows! Oh, hi. Mr. Sholmes, you're here. Why, naturally! A true gentleman stands shoulder to shoulder with his friends in battle at all times. Oh, well, thanks. I really appreciate that. I'll see you later, then. Now, Professor, we really need you to remain calm in the court today. And I really need you to stop undermining me when I try to prove your innocence.
Yes, do try your hardest not to enter the witness stand uninvited again. Yes, I will. I realize it was a mistake, but
My dear fellows, I must interject. Of course you must. Oh. Yeah, well, what's wrong? What's the matter? Surely you've overlooked some praise, have you not? To be cast in my direction, no? What? I'm sorry? I don't follow. Must I spell it out? I, the great Herlock Sholmes, the greatest detective of worldwide acclamation, arose at some ungodly hour to be here now! First thing in the morning! A miracle, you must agree. Well, I do admit you tend to not show up this early, but, as you know, my sleep is quite impregnable. What? Pregnancy? Iris had to employ her full gamut of tactics. Gamut, yes. Fuck. She pulled the covers off, shook me, poked both of my cheeks, punched me, and kicked me from the bed. Oh, what? Okay. That's more than I needed to know. Then she poured a boiling cup of her latest experimental blend on my face, and I was bestirred.
Oh my. Iris has been busy.
Iris doesn't have it in her to go that far. She's too nice.
I sense the spirit of a fellow scientist! One who relishes the infinite possibilities of blending tea!
I'm the one worthy of praise here, not Iris. This is my victory. Sorry to cut in, boys, but,
Yeah, it's me, Gregson.
Oh, Inspector Gregson. Gregson, my dear fellow. Why the grim expression at this delightful early hour?
Oh, I don't know, maybe because I've been confronted with grimmer expressions, huh?
Dear me. Are you going to take that insult lying down, Professor?
What? What? I don't know!
Poor Professor.
Anyway, here's the paperwork that you asked for.
I asked for paperwork? Oh, well, I took the liberty of requesting it yesterday. I have a feeling it may prove useful.
You wouldn't believe the hoops I had to jump through to get this brought out of the archives. It's the professor's autopsy report.
The mass murderers?
Who killed 5 members of the aristocracy.
He was found guilty in a closed trial 10 years ago now. It was all done under wraps. And he was quickly executed soon after the trial. It's all in here.
Killer's autopsy report entered into the court record! Fantastic. I don't know what to say. Thank you, Inspector. I'm gonna look at that right now before I forget. Killer's autopsy report. An autopsy report of the mass murderer known as the Professor, who was tried and found guilty by closed trial 10 years ago. Condemned prisoner, redacted for confidentiality, pseudonym the Professor. Death by hanging, confirmed at midnight, June 17th, listed by Courtney Stevens. Oh, Courtney, not Cynthia. Where am I getting that from? Okay, so are we suggesting that he was Jeffrey Epstein's? Which is a verb now. June 17th, hanging confirmed at midnight. Okay, I'm making a mental note of it. Yes, much obliged, Gregson.
Us lowly lot at the yard are just doing what we can. In the shadow of the great Detective Sholmes, of course.
Right, of course. Well then, Professor Harebrain, this is it. Today we're going to lay all this to rest at last.
I wish you the best of luck, Professor.
Yeah.
I suppose he'll be in there today, will he?
Trevor?
Yes, we expect the prosecution to summon him as a witness. I'm still amazed that you managed to find him in just one day. I really owe you both so much.
Counsel and the defendant, trial's about to resume. Kindly make your way into the courtroom at once. Okay, I'm ready for this. This is it then, the final chapter. Funny, my heart's kinda racing a little bit. I've not felt this before actually, this strange foreboding. It's as if something's gonna happen in this trial that I'm not ready for. Son of a bitch. Why would you say it like that, Ryunosuke? Listen, I should be prepared for it all. I've had witnesses shot on the stand. I've had witnesses poisoned on the stand. I've had a courtroom explode on me. You would think I'd be prepared for it all at this point, but you know what? When you say shit like that, and I know Ace Attorney passed, you're just making me feel real antsy. I can't let that distract me from the only thing that really matters. Finding the truth. Right, of course. October 24th, 9:30 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Oh good, the apprentice is here. I mean Kazuma!
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the public hearing of Albert Harebrain, here present who stands accused of murder. Are the counsels for the prosecution and defense ready to proceed?
The prosecution is ready, my lord. Yeah, so is the defense, actually. Ready and sober, I might add, my lord. Whew. As promised, Lord Von Zieks has his apprentice with him. His apprentice with memory loss.
If I may, Lord Von Zieks.
Yes, my lord.
There appears to be someone standing at your side.
Ah, yes, my apprentice and assistant. The prosecution believes today's proceedings will see the complexity of this case rise considerably. Oh, he's your wine opening, bitch. Great apprenticeship. I therefore instructed my assistant to attend to ensure the smooth running of the trial. And the smooth running of liquid refreshments by the look of it. You know, I can't help but notice with your whole alcoholism that it looks like your apprentice is a skilled swordsman. I once dated a very skilled swordsman, and I actually carry his sword on my personage at all times now.
The way he holds himself, the way he moves. It couldn't be anyone else.
But he's still suffering from amnesia. So there's really nothing we can do at the moment. Maybe we could try showing him his own sword.
I know, but... Oh, this is so very hard.
It would appear the prosecution has done a fine job in responding to the demands of the court yesterday. I understand you have successfully secured the engineer who disappeared from the scene on the day in question.
Yes, my lord. I intend to call him as a witness shortly.
Very good, very good. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, who have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this courtroom today, are you ready and willing to proceed?
Of course, my lord. I'm sure we all understand the importance of doing our civic duty.
I do so despise deception and deceit. I find it so very wearing.
To take a man's life with a conjuring trick, it is against the magician's code, not to mention the law.
Any fake scientist should feel the wrath of God if you ask me.
We have to listen to her say on both sides of the fence. I like cotton and sit on one. That's what we do, right?
Wasn't like this in my day. Wasn't like this at all.
Great, I love them so much.
If all parties are ready to proceed, you may begin, Lord Von Zieks.
Before I do, my lord, there's a report that I must read to the court. Yesterday at the Great Exhibition Grounds, the evidence of primary importance in this case, the super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine, which was installed on the experimentation stage, was deliberately destroyed in an explosion effected by an unknown person or persons.
It was what? An explosion?
Why does he have a gun in the courtroom?
Well, this is an outrage.
Yeah, does this not affect the trial at all? Yes, I heard this grave news yesterday. Scotland Yard submitted a report to my office in the evening. I read that the machine was blasted to smithers and the wreckage reduced to ashes in the flames. I have here a photographic print of the scene, taken in the wake of the explosion. It shows what little remains of the machine. Yes. A terrible business. And there's a giant hole in the floor. He did it to destroy evidence, did he?
That Enoch Trevor.
The court will take this print as evidence, counsel. Great. Late yesterday afternoon, the prosecution afforded to the machine by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act was revoked. However, before a thorough investigation could begin, the invention was obliterated from existence. As such, this will become a very different trial. Different how? And how am I going to be fucked over by this? As it stands now, with no evidence on which to draw meaningful conclusions, the authenticity of the kinesis machine will remain forever in obscurity. Ah, indeed. A most unfortunate state of affairs. However, one thing remains clear. The victim's death was the result of the actions of the accused. Of that we can be certain. For it was the accused himself who was operating the machine and ultimately caused its loss of control. Yeah, I've got an objection to that, actually. As Lord Von Zeeks rightly says, this is a very different trial now. The accused accepts responsibility for his part in the events that transpired. He acknowledges that Mr. Assman died as a result of the accident caused by his machine's malfunction. However, unbeknownst to the professor, he was being deliberately deceived by a pair of very clever fraudsters. Names, counsel, if you please. The engineer, Mr. Enoch Drebber, and the victim himself, Mr. Adi Assman. So what exactly were these two men up to behind the defendant's back? The defense intends to expose that information, thus establishing an unequivocal innocence of the defendant. Yeah. Thank you, counsels. The positions of the prosecution and defense have been clearly stated. Lord Von Zeeks, summon your first witness, please. Is it the robot? At once, my lord. The prosecution calls the engineer, Mr. Enoch Drebber, to the stand. Great, can't wait to deal with him. Oh my god. I love his fit. State your name and occupation for the court. Name, Enoch Drebber. Occupation? Hard to pin down, I would say.
See that black monocle?
Yes, I do feel as though I've seen it somewhere before. Oh, you too?
Why don't you have the same feeling? What are we talking about?
Oh man, nobody likes this guy. Your file indicates that you're currently being investigated in connection with another case. The theft of a waxwork model, is it? A most extraordinary sounding business. But that has no bearing on this trial, I assure you. Cleave it from your mind. You're familiar with the public experiment carried out at the Great Exhibition some days ago? The accused super high voltage instantaneous kinesis demonstration. Man, does this script love using the phrase super high voltage instantaneous kinesis. It should be a drinking game at this point. Do a shot every time they say the super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine. Yes, you could say that. I am aware of it. There was a terrible accident, wasn't there? It was you, Mr. Drebber, who constructed the vast machine used in the experiment. Or so our investigations indicate. Can you confirm your involvement? Yes, I constructed it, in precise accordance with the blueprints, but that's all. Then the court would be very interested to hear your thoughts about the machine, I'm sure. An amazing device, if you ask me. The pinnacle of modern science, making instantaneous kinesis a reality at last.
What? Good gracious, do you mean to say that the experiment was bona fide? Is that your belief, sir?
Yes, that is very much my belief. Such a waste that it blew up.
He's the one who blew it up! But we've already established that the machine was nothing more than a prop for an elaborate conjuring trick.
Objection.
You've established nothing of the sort. Excuse me? All that was shown during yesterday's proceedings is that the same outcome could have been produced by means of staged trickery.
Yeah!
The defense merely proposed a method and demonstrated its feasibility, nothing more.
But the burden of proof in the field of science is on the scientists. If they can't prove that their machine did what they claim that it did, then they have no proof and then it's bunk. Excuse me? I need a scientist in the room right now, okay? That is one of the fundamental principles of the scientific method. Results need to be reproducible. If you claim that you've done something in the field of science, but no other scientists can look at your work and reproduce what you've done, meaning they can go do it themselves in their own lab and get the same results, your research gets thrown out. It's not considered valid. Reproducibility needs to exist for scientific things, scientific hypotheses, scientific demonstrations to be considered valid.
We've procrastinated long enough, I feel. Witness, you will now give your formal testimony about the machine you constructed for the purpose of the demonstration at the Great Exhibition.
Understood. The Kinesis Machine. I met the young professor approximately 1 year ago through Mr. Assman's introduction. He provided me with blueprints and I constructed the machine to his precise specifications. It was no trick. If the whole show was a fraud, it would have required a body double. Tell me, did the victim have a twin?
Oh my god, bring me the waxwork figure.
All the spectators saw the birdcage appear above their heads and then crash headfirst into the crystal tower. A terrible accident, I grant you. Perhaps the science on which the machine was built was flawed somehow.
A body double?
That goes without saying, surely. To give the impression that something has moved when in reality it hasn't. It's a basic conjuring principle. The deception cannot be achieved without substituting the original with a fake at some point in the performance. But would I be right in saying you haven't managed to establish anything along those lines?
Actually, it's funny you bring that up.
Incidentally, the prosecution has already confirmed that Mr. Assman had no twin siblings.
It's my understanding that this witness is well versed in conjuring artfulness. But such talents do not indicate that he was actually able to accomplish what he claims.
First of all, you don't need a twin to be a body double. Hollywood uses body doubles all the time for people who just look marginally similar. You don't have to be twins in any capacity, especially because it's not even like we're filming a Hollywood movie where people can press the pause button, go back, rewind, and play it again. This was a singular event before the existence of, like, film photography, I think, probably. So, like, it would have been even easier to use a half-assed body double that people would see from far away on a stage for a couple of seconds, which is why it's totally plausible that they used a wax figure. I rest my case.
Whatever do you mean?
Well, yesterday's proceedings brought the true nature of your past exploits to light, Mr. Drebber.
That's right, my lord! As a swindler who preys on innocent scientists to elicit government grant money through conjuring know-how.
Yes, it's true that I possess considerable knowledge of stage magic. But crucially, my scientific knowledge more than matches that of any academic in the field. Investigation of the witness's workshop attests to that claim, my lord. As evidence, the police found this Royal Society trophy for young talent in science there.
Yes, that's true. We spotted it there ourselves. If a hypothesis is sound, it can always be forged into a physical manifestation with sufficient skill. Though I may have sold the secrets of some deceptive wiles to sniveling talentless scientists in the past.
Would you therefore assert that the explosion of the machine was
An unfortunate accident. Or, of course, a deliberate act of murder carried out by misuse of the science.
I'm gonna science you all over your face. Counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, please. I thought you'd never ask. I'm ready to rip this. Bring me the wax figure, Susato-san. It's time to. We know where we're going with this, so let's just wrap it up. Cross-examine. Is it gonna make me press everything, or do you think I can skip ahead? I'm getting impatient. Met the professor 1 year ago. Don't really care. Provided me with blueprints, I constructed the machine to his precise. Okay, whatever. The whole show was a If the whole show, it would have required a body double. Did the victim have a twin? Well, no, but there was a waxwork. I just like. This one's gonna really test my patience because I'm really antsy to just jump ahead. Because, like, girl, we all know that you used the waxwork as the body double. I want to jump ahead to that point, but now we have to play this, like, slow, wading through the water game of, like, well, how do I build to that? God, being a lawyer sucks sometimes. Okay, well, head of the Professor Waxwork that was stolen from Madame Tuspel's special exhibit. All right, well, I don't really know how to prove this, so let's press first and see what we can build. Of course, that's it. Mr. Assman was a twin. Objection!
Ryunosuke, oh my god. All right, well, pressing is a waste of time. Okay, well, I didn't think he was gonna say this thing that was literally just disproved. Oh my god. Oh, no, but here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Sorry, Just the idea of someone who looked identical to the victim is playing on my mind. Mine too. Bring me the fucking wax, man. What does he have to say about this? It's clear that you have both scientific knowledge and knowledge of conjuring magic, however. The more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to handle whatever comes along. But your implication is that I furnished the machine with some trickery, I think. It's a possibility that we have to explore. Unfortunately, though, the machine has been blown to Kingdom Come. So there's really nothing left to explore, is there? It appears that the kinesis machine was fitted with a time-explosive device of some kind. And there's nothing left of that device either. Not a single shred of evidence remaining, I hear. He must have planned all of this from the outset. But in any case, it's abundantly clear that the experiment couldn't have been a trick. Did the victim have a twin? Well, no, but how do I bring up the waxwork? Parent stab wound to the chest. Okay. Wooden bird cage. Photograph of Drebber. Photograph of the balloon. Piece of broken glass. Killer's autopsy report. Post-explosion photo. Like, can I not just throw the waxwork and be like, here we go. Oh, I need a key. Son of a bitch. This lock does look very strong. There's definitely no way you could pry it open. Okay. Son of a bitch, I have to press everything. I don't know what I'm doing. I have to press everything and waste more time. So we're already acquainted with Mr. Assman himself. Not really. By chance I'd seen his name mentioned in the papers, that's all. But I had no interest in his private affairs. If he was an unscrupulous investor, it was of no concern to mine. As long as people pay their bills, I take up my tools and construct what they ask for. So why did Mr. Assman approach you in particular then? Who can say? I presume because my name is associated with excellence in engineering. Not to mention excellence in fraud. Hard to gauge, but the point is, all I did was construct the machine according to the blueprints I was given. In other words, the kinesis machine was built on solid scientific principles. Yes, you might say that. Professor Hairbrain certainly has a mind like no other. Okay. Did that one, did this one. Spectator saw the birdcage. Let me press this. It crashed head first, you say? Oh, wait, maybe this is relevant. Well, according to the many witness reports from those that were there at the time, yes. Were you not there at the exhibition grounds that day? Head first. He made a note of that. Unlikely. I rarely leave my workshop. Yet another one of your unique inventions was found at the scene. It was the unveiling of a machine I'd labored over for many months. I saw it clearly with my own eyes. The birdcage plummeting headfirst onto the tower. Wait, what? He just changed his answer! What a surprise. I believe the victim's neck was broken from the headlong fall, wasn't it? And how exactly would you have come by that information? Even an infernal recluse like me reads the newspapers, you know. According to the reports, 2 injuries were apparent on the victim's body. Was this all public information? Yeah, he was stabbed in the chest by a screwdriver believed to belong to the defendant, and he had a broken vertebrae as a result of a fall from a considerable height. Correct, my learned friend. You've been doing some research, it seems. Do we know which injury was the fatal one? Sadly not. Forensic science is not yet at a level where such things can be determined. What we do know is that the victim died having sustained both injuries at some point during the experiment, and since he was found in the birdcage with his neck broken, it's obvious that he fell from a considerable height. I suppose that's hard to deny. Alright, let me back that up one more time. So they saw the birdcage crash head first into the crystal tower. Can I find a contradiction here? Let me look. I have the birdcage. The wooden cage that was used for Professor Hairbrain's experiment. This cage with the victim inside crashed down into the crystal tower, right? Here is the point of impact the head or the floor, though. Look here, Miss Susato.
Oh, yes! The wood's cracked and broken a little. I suppose because it fell from such a height.
Yeah, from the height at which the balloon is flying down into the crystal tower below. A fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters.
Leaving the man inside tragically dead.
Okay. Damage to its... I'm sorry, does that say damage to its... base? Base. Base. In other words, the booty. In other words... not the ventral side, of the body of the suit of the, it's the floor. All right, it's not head first. I've got the evidence. I'm ready. Present. Throw the birdcage at him.
Objection.
Fuck yeah. We've examined the birdcage that crashed into the crystal tower ourselves. As you can see, the cage, which has a wooden construction, has sustained damage in one particular spot. Following the explosion, it fell some 30 feet into the glass of the crystal tower. That level of damage is to be expected, surely. Yeah, that's not my problem with it, actually, Mr. Alcoholic. The damage itself is entirely understandable. What doesn't make sense is the location of that damage. All the breakages in the wood are at the base of the birdcage, not at the top of it. What are you saying?
Well, that's the opposite of where they should be.
Thank you, my lord. That's right. The birdcage that was at the scene is damaged at its base. So we have reports of the birdcage falling headlong into the crystal tower, yet the damage is at the bottom? What's going on there? The only way to reconcile these two facts is to accept that there were 2 birdcages in play that day, which were at some point swapped. Switched during what was not a scientific experiment at all, but an elaborate piece of stage trickery. Yeah! Fuck yeah.
Well, good gracious.
Explain yourself, witness.
Well, if we examine the facts, there's only one logical conclusion we can draw. The damage on the base of the birdcage clearly indicates that it crashed tail first into the tower. But multiple witness reports claim that it fell head first into the tower. The birdcage materialized in the sky next to a balloon flying over the stage following a spontaneous explosion! At an altitude of some 60 feet above ground level!
That's approximately 18 meters.
Thank you, Susato-san. It then proceeded to fall some 30 feet into the crystal tower in the ensuing it fell. Witness reports in such chaos are notoriously unreliable. How convenient that witness testimony is unreliable when it is in my favor, but it's completely reliable when it's in your favor. The victim's neck was broken, for fuck's sake.
Objection.
He plummeted 30 feet inside a heavy wooden cage. However he fell, it wouldn't be unsurprising to find one or two of his vertebrae crushed. A riveting, scientific analysis of events from the prosecution there, though to be even more rigorous. You would have to say it was only one vertebra, actually. What? Well, he wasn't quiet for long.
I find it hard to see what's motivating Lord Von Seeks. This witness is clearly a swindler, and one who's deceived a personal friend of his.
If you're going to establish this deception, do it right.
What?
I feel like that's the undertone here. Ah, yes! And there's one more point. The defense appears to have forgotten this. It obviously wasn't a trick, as a certain truth very plainly demonstrates. What?
Well, it seems to me that the cross-examination had better continue until we resolve this matter. Mr. Drebber, you will amend your testimony with details of this truth.
Of course. We must treat the matter scientifically, after all. Ugh. I nearly had this dude. When you're ready, Mr. Robot. Alright, so the kinesis clearly took place because there's nowhere else 30 feet high for the birdcage to have fallen from. Pardon the fuck out of me? Excuse me? There's nowhere else? Really? Really? Alright, let me just be careful about how I play this. Photograph taken by Gotts whilst he was riding. It shows another balloon that he claims was green. This balloon. I think this is the photo.
Objection.
Son of a bitch! What do you mean this isn't the photo? That last statement would seem at odds somehow with this evidence. That is... Fuck you! Oh my god, I hate this. Fine. Slow it down. Like I said, I already know the answer. It's getting there that pisses me off. Alright, fine. Let me press this statement. See what I'm skipping ahead on here for. Alright, continue. What do you mean? Well, before the demonstration began, the victim was alive on stage in front of the audience. Yeah, and there's lots of witnesses who saw Mr. Assman on the experimentation stage. That's all true. And the victim's neck broke as a result of an impact following a fall. Logically, therefore, the victim must have fallen from somewhere. The balloon that exploded was at an altitude of 60 feet. The point of impact of the tower was 30 feet up. Yeah! What? Am I the one who's like smoking crack here and being a stupid idiot? The balloon is 60 feet. The tower impact site was 30 feet above the ground. That's the 30 feet that he fell. What? Hello? He fell from the balloon! That difference of 30 feet is therefore the total distance the birdcage fell. Yeah, we are in perfect synchronized agreement here. So pray tell, my alcoholic friend, what is the problem? And there's no other location from which the cage could have fallen that distance if it didn't drop out of the sky. Ergo, the victim himself must have been beamed from the stage into the sky above the Crystal Tower.
A trenchant scientific analysis. Dear me, every time I hear it explained, it sounds increasingly plausible.
Oh yes, it's all very well thought out.
Well, certainly all the spectators on that day saw it. The birdcage plummeting 30 feet through the air, I mean.
Irritatingly, yeah. What? The kinesis clearly took place. There's nowhere else 30 feet high for the birdcage to have fallen from. What? Is it the diagram that I need to show? Is it something... What? What? You're trying to prove that he didn't fall from the balloon. What? I'm trying to prove that he didn't fall from the balloon? But he was hidden in the balloon. Okay, well, fine. I can do that, too. If we're trying to prove that he didn't fall from the balloon, then the answer is this giant fucking hole in the ground, because he said that the stage was 30 feet off the ground, so if he fell through this hole, there's your 30 feet right there. But, like, I thought we were trying to prove that he was hidden in the balloon, and he popped the balloon, and then he went kersplat. I'm getting lost in the sauce here. Okay, so is it this?
Objection!
Ah, son of a bitch, it's not that either. Fuck. Great, no, we're on a roll here today, Your Honor. I'm doing great. Okay, fuck. What the fuck? What do you mean, pray? So is it the diagram then? Is it the diagram where I have to show that the stage is 30 feet off the ground? Is that what I need to do?
Objection!
Your Honor, I would like to claim some real fat bullshit here, and you can all suck my dirty cock after this. Because I showed you the experimentation stage. I showed you the goddamn hole in the experimentation stage that the man could have fallen through and fallen 30 feet to the ground. And you're like, no, George, that's the wrong evidence, you stupid fucking idiot. I'm going to penalize you. Instead, you want me to show you this pencil-ass fucking drawing to show you, oh, it's a diagram that's 30. Fuck you. Now that I've gotten that off my chest, Your Honor, I would like to move forward with my explanation of why the pencil drawing is the evidence that I need here. This is a diagram of the experimentation stage and its surroundings. We know that somehow the birdcage appeared in midair before falling down to the Crystal Tower. A fall of about 30 feet, also known as 9 meters. However, if you examine the diagram carefully, you'll see that there is one other possible location from which the birdcage could have fallen. The same distance of 30 feet. No.
Well, it appears the defense has a possible explanation to put forward. Go ahead, counsel.
Yeah, I'm trying real fucking hard here.
You will indicate the place to which you are referring on this same diagram. The alternative location from which the birdcage could have possibly fallen the requisite 30 feet.
Right there, Your Honor. The place I'm referring to is right here.
Well, but that's where the birdcage would have been to begin with.
Yep. That's exactly my point, my lord. The birdcage was in the machine on the stage. But what we must also consider is the height of the stage itself.
Go on, counsel.
It turns out that the experimentation stage was built at a considerable height above ground level. If you look at the diagram, in fact, you'll see that it's about the same height above the ground as the balloon above the crash site. Yeah. When the experiment got underway, the machine and the birdcage were engulfed in steam. At that moment, the floor of the stage gave way, and if we assume there to be a void underneath, this birdcage and the one seen by the audience would have fallen almost exactly the same distance. Got him. Well, once again, my lord, this all points to the fact that there was not one birdcage, but two.
Objection!
My learned friend has no evidence that the stage had such a contrivance in its design. Oh, I'm sorry, were you too busy downing another bottle when you didn't see me present the literal evidence you're speaking of right now at the wrong time? I made a very big deal about it, actually. Someone is responsible for the criminal destruction of the kinesis machine itself. It's true. However, the stage still stands. And take a moment to look at this photographic print of my hole. Yeah, it's big, it's gaping, and a whole man could fall through it.
Well, good lord. The metal grill that formed on the floor of the machine is undone.
Yeah, most likely blown open by the force of the explosion that destroyed the rest of the machine. The defense calls for the space below the stage to be investigated. Immediately! Send out a team! Mr. Drebber. It was you who built the kinesis machine, which means that it was you who built the two bird cages that were used to carry out this deception. Whether Professor Harebrain's hypothesis is sound or not makes no difference, because it's the construction of this machine that matters, a machine designed to take Mr. Assman's life. And to lay the blame firmly at the professor's door, something that could only have been carried out by you, Mr. Enoch Drebber. Yeah, cry about it. Oh no, he glitched. Oh, fuck me. What do you want? Yeah, pour another one out. If my learned friend has reached the end of his wild assertions... Oh? The prosecution would like to crush the defense's argument slowly but surely. What? Your argument fails to hold water. On 2 counts. 2? Firstly, before and after the experiment, this witness went nowhere near the kinesis machine. Every relevant member of staff on the exhibition let me run that back. Every relevant member of staff from the exhibition is attested to that.
And I believe members of Scotland Yard have also been on watch duty at every public experiment.
In other words, Mr. Drebber had no opportunity to switch the alleged pair of bird cages. But I've already explained why he wouldn't have needed to. The nonsense with the crossbow, that doesn't bolster your case at all. The man who disappeared from the stage and the man who crashed into the tower are one and the same. The forensic investigation team's report is unequivocal on that point. Well, maybe they were wrong. And the second flaw in your assertion is a distinct lack of motive. Why would this man have wanted to take the victim's life? He had no reason to do so. A motive? God, do I have to do everything all by myself? Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one who has a real job around here. I have here a contract provided by the witness.
What contract is this, Lord Von Seeks?
The contract into which Mr. Drebber entered with the victim. It reads, Mr. Drebber is to receive 30% of all remuneration. Fuck me, I feel like such an idiot. But listen, boys and girls. This is why you're supposed to read. When you read, you become more learned. You increase your vocabulary and you can say things that you otherwise...
Remuneration.
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 Remuneration. The money paid for a worker's service. That one's a little bit embarrassing on me to not know, but, you know. No, you should never be ashamed to not know a word. You should only be ashamed if you don't figure out what that word means. Remunerations from government grants or other income. I mean, I was able to figure out what the word meant. I just didn't know how to pronounce it. You can also figure out what words mean a lot of the times through context clues.
30%? Certainly very favorable contractual conditions.
But there was one very important provision bolted into that clause.
What provision?
Mr. Drebber may only uphold this right on condition that both contracting parties are alive. In other words, if either of us were to die, the contract would become null and void. So you see, I had nothing to gain from Mr. Assman's death. The diametric opposite, in fact.
Oh. Well, that sucks.
Need I say more? The witness had neither an opportunity nor a reason to commit the alleged crime. In short, the possibility of Mr. Drebber having done as you suggest is nil.
Well, but,
Scheisse.
Well, it seems the defense's assertion was somewhat wide of the mark. Lord Von Zieks, you will submit the contract as evidence, please.
Okie doke.
It's true. If Drebber had no opportunity to switch the birdcage under the stage with the one in the Crystal Tower, he couldn't have done it. And in any case, I have no idea what his motive might have been.
There is one aspect of your argument that still holds true, however.
There is?
There were 2 bird cages. The prosecution is unable to deny that.
That's right!
So I'm sure you're on the right lines, Mr. Naruhodo, and I have no doubt that there are other aspects of your assertion that are undeniable truths too.
Thank you, Susato-san.
Well, it would seem that the defense has no rejoinder to offer.
Oh, I hate his laugh. Well, I must say I'm a little surprised. I came here to testify about the machine I built, and instead my reputation is defiled. But the prosecution's counter has set the record straight, I think. It's impossible that I'm the culprit. At the beginning of this trial, we believed that there was only 1 birdcage, yet now we know that there must have been 2. In other words, there was more to the demonstration than we realized at first. I think it's abundantly clear that the same applies to the culprit. Get to the point. The stage demonstration was constructed and set up in its entirety by you, Mr. Drebber. Therefore, it's inconceivable that you had no hand in the events that transpired. So if circumstances mean it's impossible that you could have carried out the crime yourself, it points to the fact that someone else was involved.
Someone else? Counsel, are you suggesting?
Yes, my lord. Mr. Drebber had an accomplice.
Objection!
An accomplice now? Well then, I presume. You're prepared for what's to come? Is it fingering my accomplice? Now that you're accusing not only this witness, but someone else of the most serious of crimes. If these accusations turn out to be false, then make no mistake. The prosecution will demand an equally serious punishment for your slander. Yeah, you always bluff this with me, my boy. I'm okay with it.
Well, counsel, do you intend to pursue this course and formally accuse another party of involvement in this matter?
What do I do here? At the moment, this is little more than a hunch on my part. I don't know for sure if Drebber had an accomplice, or even if he really is the culprit here. But I'm also kind of pissed off, so I kind of want to keep him in the hot seat. One way or another, though, I have to make my position clear, as a lawyer. So what's my stance gonna be? Did Drebber have an accomplice, or not? Yeah, sure, why not? It's more interesting if he did. Oh, the defense is ready to name Mr. Drebber's accomplice. Somehow, the 2 bird cages must have been switched. Everything points to that. Yet according to the coroner's report, that's not a possibility. But that inconsistency itself is our clue here.
Counsel,
My lord!
you have received a stark warning already. If you are nevertheless determined, then I must now ask you to identify this alleged accomplice by name.
Well, are we suggesting that Cynthia, the really cool dancer, is the accomplice, and that maybe she forged the autopsy report or whatever to clear this man's name?
Who do you claim to have been Mr. Drebber's accomplice?
I'm gonna blame a woman. Dr. Courtney Scythe. On a hunch. The name of the person in question is, What's wrong, my Nipponese friend? I don't know, I'm kind of bluffing and I did get a lot of strikes, so maybe this was kind of stupid of me. Surely fear doesn't bind your tongue now. It's a little late for that. Right, of course. Well, after all, naming her in this capacity is definitely gonna make waves. I am about to make a scene. I could very well turn every single person in this courtroom against me.
I'm sure it's going to be all right, Mr. Naruhodo.
Okay, well, if you say so, then I feel a lot better. Thank you, Susato.
The enemy always appears larger than life, but you'll appear exactly the same to the enemy.
You think so? Well, alright then. Here goes. You've kept us waiting long enough. Your answer, counsel. Now. The person who colluded with Mr. Drebber in order to carry out this wicked crime is Scotland Yard's coroner, Dr. Courtney Scythe.
What in the blazes are you talking about, Dr. Scythe?
The head of the forensic investigation team and the coroner who conducted the autopsy on the victim? Yeah, that one. Not to be confused with Cynthia, she's a really cool dancer. We know there were 2 bird cages, so who could have carried out the switch to complete the illusion? The accident happened in front of a huge crowd of spectators, and the area was immediately sealed off. Then, everyone, police officers included, were banished to make way for the forensic investigation team. When else could the switch have occurred? It can only have been in that team's presence. They are the ones who had the opportunity. It's essential that the court determines exactly what happened following the incident. The defense demands that Dr. Scythe be summoned to the witness as a stand at once to testify. Hell yeah, bring her out here.
You've got nerve, lad. Standing up there, dragging the yard's name through the mud.
Well, I wasn't dragging the whole yard's name through the mud.
I know the woman very well. There's no better dead room worker out there. How dare you call her a criminal?
My learned friend's imagination appears to be wilder than East End at night. What? But the recklessness of your accusation aside, there's another grave problem with your argument. One which the prosecution demands you address at once. A grave problem?
Oh my word!
Who do you claim acted as the victim's doppelganger? Well, my hypothesis is it was a wax figure. What?
Certainly, if the bird cage containing the body of the victim was exchanged for another, that cage must have also contained a body.
And yet, no missing persons or accidental deaths of anyone even remotely resembling the victim have been reported. Which means there was no one, dead or alive, who could have fulfilled the role of a body double for Mr. Assman. Well, listen. If my argument is that there were 2 bird cages, then there also must have been a person inside each. But I don't know if I've got an answer to that yet. Do I? What can I do to reveal how this body's double stunt was achieved? I want to present evidence, but I always jump the gun and I'm always too fast. I feel like doing nothing shouldn't be the answer, but what the fuck do I know anymore? Name a person or present evidence or nothing at the moment. Here's my so I believe it was a waxwork, but I don't really have evidence that I can use to support that. I really, really think they're gonna laugh me out of court if I just throw the waxwork head up here inside of the knight's mask and I'm like, this is what they used. I don't think that's gonna fly. So if that piece of evidence on its own isn't gonna fly, then I think maybe I need more testimony? Great exhibition, newspaper, crossbow, photograph of victim, autopsy report, screwdriver, photograph balloon, photograph of Drebber, wooden cage, broken glass, camera, Royal Society, trip for excellent. The waxwork. I mean, maybe I could use it. But actually, well, maybe not. I think, clearly we need to get a key and we need to open up this mask. If I could see its face, maybe that'll help me. I'm gonna say nothing at the moment and see what happens. I can't explain that at the moment. Oh, really? And when can the court expect an explanation? After I make Cynthia testify. Maybe tomorrow? Oh, this sounds wrong. Okay, maybe I should have presented it. Okay, well, you know what? You can all fucking suck my cock.
People who procrastinate lose everything in the end, Mr. Naruhodo.
Okay, but when I try to present evidence, the game... Literally, every time I have the evidence and I present it, the game's like, whoa there, buckaroo, slow your roll. You're trying to jump ahead of us. And then when I'm like, oh, well, it doesn't feel like I have enough of the evidence put together, then the game's like, hey, you stupid idiot, why aren't you presenting the evidence? Can you make up your damn mind, please?
Jesus, we can discuss all that later. But for now, you ought to consider what you can do, not what you can't do.
Thank you, Susato-san. Okay, yeah, I'll think again. What can I do to reveal how this... Alright, I'm gonna present the evidence and hope that it was okay. Very well, the defense will address my learned friend's concerns by presenting evidence that reveals the true nature of Mr. Assman's body double. That's right, I can throw the learned phrase right back at you. Good gracious, evidence? I do hope this isn't filibustering, counsel. The court is expecting a name. If you think you have relevant evidence, present it now. The body double and the birdcage were hiding inside the balloon that was floating above the stage, which means that any witnesses would only have seen them from 60 feet away. So who was it that appeared out of that explosion some 18 meters above the spectators? Aha! The body double inside the second birdcage was... this thing.
Take that!
A waxwork. We know that the victim, Mr. Assman, was in the birdcage that was situated inside the kinesis machine on the stage, and therefore, he couldn't have been inside the second birdcage. Instead, that contains something else. What's been described as a body double, which is what fell from the sky and crashed into the Crystal Tower. Yes, counsel. According to your somewhat elaborate version of events. And that body double inside the second birdcage was in fact...
It's all right, Mr. Naruhodo. You're ready for this.
I really need her gentle parenting right now, because I am stressed.
Just steel yourself and come out with it.
Thank you, Susato-san. I needed that. As I was saying, the body double inside the second birdcage was, as unbelievable as it may seem, that thing right... Oh, I didn't realize that we had the whole fucking body with us. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's it.
Objection!
What's wrong? Open your eyes and look into mine, my Nipponese friend. Oh, are we doing this right here, right now? Usually we wait till after dinner. Now tell me, what are you playing at? Stand firm now, Ryunosuke. This is the time to show your Japanese spirit. As the court is going to observe, this is a waxwork model. It's a model, in fact, of an infamous London murderer from 10 years ago, the Professor.
Objection!
You started by indicating the leader of the forensic investigation team is an accomplice in this crime. And now you've moved on to indicating waxworks. Ooh, you're slurring your speech there a little bit. Have you had a little bit too much to drink there, Mr. Eggnog? Yes. That's actually about the size of what I'm claiming, though, by the way. But why? And why this waxwork? It looks nothing like the victim. In fact, it could hardly resemble him less. What possible justification can you give? Well, it was stolen from Madame Tussbell's. If you want to know why, you have to ask Mr. Drebber. What? Just days before Professor Harebrain performed his public demonstration, Mr. Drebber abducted this model from Madame Tussbell's. Did you say abducted?
After 2 days after the incident at the Great Exhibition, he returned it to the museum. Then the timing.
Is this true, Mr. Drebber?
At first, I couldn't see why Mr. Drebber would have stolen the waxwork and then given it back again. But now, the reason is clear. He took it so that he could put it inside the second birdcage, as a body double for Mr. Assman. Yeah.
Objection!
Are you hearing this, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Are you hearing the defense's astonishing proposal? That the witness fabricated this vast machine with the intention of deceiving some wretched scientist. That he did so in collusion with the country's finest coroner on a public stage in front of a vast audience. And that to effect the deception, he used a waxwork model that in no way resembles the victim. Are we really to believe that this far-fetched tale is true? What do you decide?
Objection!
Oh, wait! Before you decide, if you put it like that, of course it sounds implausible.
My lord, I need to speak if you please.
Go ahead, Mr. Foreman.
Myself and my colleagues have reached an agreement.
Very good, in that case. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your leanings. All right. Here's where they find me guilty. Yep, and I...
Guilty.
A jury summation, I have to do that thing where I change their minds. Oh, shut up, you corncob bitch. Rub a corncob on my clit. Have you guys heard that country song that's going viral on TikTok made by AI? Okay, yep. Been here before. Story of my life with these trials. So, as indicated by the foreman, the jury has reached a consensus. Yeah, I knew that was bound to happen.
We shall get through this, Mr. Naruhodo, as we always do.
Yeah, it's almost getting a little bit repetitive, Susato-san.
And we'll uncover some new truths along the way, I'm quite sure.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna have to appeal to the jurors as usual, and see if I can persuade them to change their minds.
The defense will now embark on a summation examination. Are you and your fellows ready to proceed, Mr. Foreman?
We are, my lord.
Very well. In that case, I ask you to now state clearly for all present to hear the grounds on which each of you has decided that the defendant is guilty of the crime for which he is charged. But we will do so tomorrow.
All right, we're moving into the next section of trial, but that means that we're done for the day. Oh, and no stream tomorrow, actually. So tomorrow is Thursday, but I have a thing. A friend of mine is hosting a game night. I'm going to that. It is at the same time that stream would be, so I will not be here, which means you guys got to keep your assholes clenched on this cliffhanger a little bit longer. I will be back next week to do the courtship things and get my jury back on my side. I hope you'll be here for that. If you guys could please leave a like on the stream, the engagement is super helpful. No stream tomorrow. Be back next week. Be there, be square, and I will see you boys then. All right then. Toodles!